Hello, my friends. Happy New Year. It's actually January 6th, a few days after New Year. But it's the first time I've talked to you in 2024. I hope you had a happy New Year. I had a nice one. I've been a little bit busy. I had the week between Christmas and New Year's off. And you saw most of what I did then, but I had a few more days after my last recording, and I've done a little bit more. So thought we might take a look at some of that. The cabin, you know, my cabin, back behind me, back over that way. That's done. Let's go take a look, shall we? By the way, these cannons here, they're non-functional. They look like cannons. They don't do anything. We got some nice big lanterns up here though. Got the mast. One of the masts started, and the other one up there. This doesn't actually go anywhere yet. There's no floor here. A lot of the interior of the ship was not done on the schematic that I have for this. So we'll have to do that ourselves. But that's actually fun because that means we can tailor it to however we want without, having to figure out what we want to keep and what we don't. So that's nice. Captain's cabin's up here. We've actually, believe it or not, we've sort of moved in, but not completely. We're living out of this base, but we're still storing stuff in the old base, and I'm slowly transitioning that to over here. But maybe I should actually take a closer look before I go in. This ship is not completely to scale in some ways, and then it is in others. Let's talk about that for a minute. There are two types of scale. Well, rather three, I guess, for our purposes. There's the ship being scaled to itself, then there's the ship being scaled to the world, and then there's player scale, meaning, so this right here, this represents 1 meter wide. And this exact same block, 1 meter tall, 1 meter deep. So we have a cubed meter here. And as you can see, I am 2 meters tall and about half a meter thick, or rather wide, and thick, and then 1 meter wide, which is not really realistic in real life. That's a lot of reals, variations on the word real. But that is the size of the player. So the way you can build, as I said, is build something relative to itself on the scale, relative to the world on the scale, or relative to the player on its scale. For instance, in real life, we don't walk as fast as I'm walking right now. So when I pass through a door, it feels like it happens maybe more quickly than it would in real life. Or when I pass these torches, in real life, this would be more of a jog or a running pace. And that speed combined with the size of things, like, this is a meter wide, and in real life, a door that's a meter wide, or in this case is 2 meters wide, would feel like plenty of room. But it feels kind of tight here if you just have one door, even though that's in real life 3 feet. Well, the equivalent of 3 feet in real life, approximately. So I say all that to say that this ship is kind of all over the place in its scale. It's relative to itself in some places, it's relative to the world in others, and it's relative to the player in some. For example, these are supposed to be stairs right here. Obviously, we're going to have to make changes to them to make them usable for player scale, because I can't walk up those stairs. I'm too short. But then these stairs here are to player scale. I can walk up them just fine. These poles here, they're going to be about, not quite, but almost as high as the door, maybe as high as these dark oak handle looking things, which actually they're supposed to be represent handles, and you know, you walk through the door. So the scale of the ship is for a person where this would be a normal sized door for them. What I've done is I've created the little insets, and I'm using those as actual doors so that it still fits the scale of the ship itself, but functions on a player scale. And there's things like that all over the ship. And then there are some places like here where these stairs also player scale. So I knew that going into it because I built this ship before, and I'm fine with that. I'm just kind of explaining why some things are one way and others are another way. But yeah, we've got a lot of progress made here. If I come down here, maybe you can see it a little bit better. But yeah. Oh, and we have our masthead or figurehead. It's a monkey holding a torch, as you can see. Kind of neat. And then we have a nice design of glass on the back. The ship has more up that goes up as high as this glowstone here. I just went ahead and finished the glowstone and the glass to get them out of my inventory, because with all these colors and glowstone, that was 4 slots in my inventory. We'll take another look at that real quick, because I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, the ship itself will go as high as this red and orange and yellow glass, and actually a little bit higher if you account for things like cells and whatnot. But let's go in the cabin. The cabin's not done, but it is livable. I added some windows. These aren't in the schematic, but I want it to be able to see out. I like being able to see out. I'm actually thinking of adding a door right here. Oops. And then like some way down to here, so we can walk around if we want to do that. And then there's another outside deck. We might be able to somehow connect that to down here. And actually these stairs I added myself. They're not in the blueprint. Another player scale thing I wanted added. But it's starting to come together quite nicely, I think. Let's go put those little pieces back, though. We don't want, you know, to become unseaworthy. Yeah. We got a nice little elevated area here. I hung enough lights up to where we have mob proofed it. Nothing can spawn here. I tried to make them sort of haphazard with oh, there's a hole right there. We should probably fix that, huh? Anyway, with their heights and placement, while being somewhat symmetrical, but just enough off to make give it some life, you know. As if the ship were, you know, rolling on the seas or what have you. Looks like I just need to add that row right there. Cover that up. Maybe let's go ahead and do that while we're safely inside during the nighttime. Let's see. So sort of leads to a little corner there. Okay. I see. Oh, I didn't go high enough. In fact, I may need to go back this way some. Yep. Yep. That's how it's supposed to be. There's a few little things like that I've noticed in the blueprint, the schematic, where it's missing a thing, which you really can't fault the schematic for being off on little things like that, because this thing is just so massive. It's easy to miss something. There's probably tons that I've missed. But we have our bed over here and our ender chest, and I just hung some stuff up to make it look a little more interesting. We have another storage there. We have our smithing tables here, a crafting table, and just some storage. This is all these shulker boxes, and all those shulker boxes over here are the ones that started on the mushroom by the little area where we put grass over there, and then got moved to one of the lower decks, and now they're in here. And this is that same drown head that's followed our little work area around. I don't know if I'll keep it there or not, but there for now. But we can sleep and make it daytime. I guess I don't need these right now. Trying to keep my inventory somewhat organized, because I'm at the point of the build where a lot of different things are needed. So organization's even more important, because our inventory, you know, we don't have a lot of room in this thing. Something Mojang has attempted to fix, but has not successfully found a way yet. But we also added a duck, as you can see. Our start off point was not in line with the where I wanted to connect to the ship, so we did this little curve here. That gave me a couple other ideas we'll talk about momentarily. It's actually made out of campfires that I have extinguished. That's what these are. And they're directional, so you can make them like this one's going this way and this one's going this way, so it looks kind of like things have fallen apart and been repaired over the years. That's what I did with this area too. Just make it have some wear and tear to give it the illusion of age. And also because campfires can only go, they're like slabs, but slabs can go on the bottom or top half of a block, and campfires can only go on the bottom half. So to reach the elevation, which the ship deck is actually about 10 blocks higher than where this starts, I had to make some stairs, and that's, I thought, was a good place to emphasize the wear and tear. But we put in some other places and made the direction slightly different here to emphasize that. And you know, crafting table looks like wear and tear, but actually it's practical to have them every now and there, but here and there, I mean. Got some holes that you can't really fall through. Just you know, the appearance of age, give it some character, make it look a little more interesting. You know, it's the holes appear at different times and they're replaced at different times, so the different boards, that's what was available at that moment, or maybe this one was replaced sooner, so it's lighter because it's got more, it's been exposed to the sun for longer. You know, however you want to interpret it, I just think it looks more interesting this way than having nothing but, you know, extinguished campfire. So this now connects. And one thing I've been talking about since we moved to this island is turning all this mycelium into grass. And I tell you, that's probably going to take months, but I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm ready to at least start it around the areas we've built up. But yeah, we'll come back here a little bit and just sort of imagine the approach to the ship if you were walking around instead of flying with your elytra. It would sort of pop up like this, and that's, I think, kind of neat how it just kind of appears out around the corner as you go up the dock, and you can see more and more of it. And up here where the dock meets the deck. I think it's pretty neat. One thing, when I was building this, I would put down, you know, say I put, this is a jungle plank, and I put an oak plank there, and I was like, I don't like the oak plank there, so I you know, I chop it away. And sometimes it would pop back into my inventory, and sometimes it would fall down here. And I'm not one who wants to go chop a bunch of trees and make a bunch of different wooden implements. So when it fell in the water, I decided, no, I'm going to get them. But then it's annoying to get out of the water. So I got a trident with riptide on it, which is a fun thing we haven't looked at yet. But check this out. Here's what you can do with riptide. If you're in the water, you can launch it and you'll go with it. And then you can even activate your elytra and glide around. So whenever I drop something in the water by accident, I would just jump in, get it, and then glide back up here. A lot easier getting in and out of the water this way repeatedly than with the rockets. So that was fun. Also, you can technically fly this way if it's raining. The riptide will only activate if you're standing in water, but if it's raining, it will activate wherever you are, including flying through the air. Maybe we'll have a chance to demonstrate that later. But the dock is not done. I want to put fence gates all the way around it, and then I want to, even though it's not necessary since, you know, gravity doesn't exist for most blocks in Minecraft, I want to bring these down. Not every single fence, but like maybe every 10 fences have it go down to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe that is what I would start with. I have some fences already made. Let's see, we are 1381 and 383. So that would be here. All right, let's see how that looks. My concern is it might be too thin. But actually, I think that's going to be okay. Yeah. That doesn't look too bad at all. So let's see. Let's do the same thing again. $13.74 and $3.83. one other thing I wanted to do is maybe have some support beams horizontally. See how that. Yeah, I don't know if I like that or not. Because I want to do another one like that at the top. And I think it's going to be too crowded if I have one at the bottom and or the middle and the top. So let's abandon that idea. Oops. Oh, there's a couple there we missed. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two. Oh. There we go. There we go. Let's see how this. Now, see how we like that. I like that better than I liked it lower. I think I'm going to leave it for now, and we'll try wrapping it around this side and kind of going up with the slight grade we have here. I guess the way to do this is it'll be easier to gauge where to have that row down there if we know how high this row here is. And then I wonder, do I want this one here higher as well? I don't think I do. There. I'll probably change this around a little bit more because I have a couple other ideas I want to incorporate onto the dock. Can we do, no, can't. I do that, then I can do that. Yeah. So my other ideas that I want to incorporate are maybe having a couple little offshoots, like maybe having like a little just 5x5 thing that comes off like right here with some supports under it, and then maybe another one, I don't know, maybe it goes out from here, goes this way a little bit, and maybe another one like right here on this side. And then I thought I could have like smaller boats and then like a crane type thing as if it's lifting cargo off of those boats, like on this one here. And then that cargo could actually be a beacon in disguise that gives us all the status effects, like running faster, jumping higher. And then, you know, just put something here, just decorative maybe, I don't know, and maybe just another small ship with some cargo looking things being added to it or lifted off of it. And then the one way up here, what I might do I might put it on this side, actually. That's more central. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, probably put it on this side. I would have that crane going actually down underwater, as if it's pulling something from beneath the surface, and what that would be a conduit, like we have underneath the monument, the ocean monument that's been our base for a few months. The thing that makes it so you can see underwater and makes it so you can breathe underwater. And that would be a good way to put it down there and have it look, sort of like a natural thing. So that's an idea that I have. Actually, I'm going to need to work my way from this way, because you can go over but not under with these things. Is that how we did that one? Yeah, that's how we did that one. I like that. These days are going by quickly. We're going to need to shriek here in a second. The ship is pretty well lit on the deck, but the dock is not lit so well. I don't think anything can spawn on the campfires, but it can on things like this here. Because the campfires are technically a half slab and they're on the lower side, so nothing should be able to spawn on them. But I've been wrong about things before, so either way, we're gonna light this thing up. Maybe I was wondering how I was gonna space out the posts that go into the water, and maybe the thing to do is have them go down wherever they go up. Wherever the grade changes enough to go up a row is where we drop a support into the water, and some of them will be closer together like here, and some of them will be farther apart, and that'll make it look more, again, as I was discussing earlier, make it look more organic, like it sort of happened over time and it's been repaired here and there as needed, so it's no longer pristine. It looks used and somewhat alive. We may even do some armor stand statues. I want to do some more work on the ship, and I want to finish the dock, and then maybe I'll check back in with you. Yeah. So as you can see, it's raining, and I had mentioned you can sort of fly with the trident if it has riptide while it's raining, so I thought we'd play with that some. And we're so high up it's snowing, and it doesn't work in the snow. We're at Y about 600. Oh, I wonder how high we can get up. Off of one go. We're at 550. That got us to 720, so about 170 blocks. Really, really quick way to travel. If it rained all the time, which, according to the crow, it It can't rain all the time. But if it did, this would be the way to travel. Whoa, that was cool. Another thing you can do with the trident is if you have channeling, you can cause lightning to strike, much like we almost got struck by lightning a moment ago. And we do have a villager that sells that, but you can't have channeling and riptide on the same trident, so we'd have to put it on another trident. Since we're showing off tridents, maybe now's a good time to just do that. Well, as you can see, we do have a channeling trident now. Unfortunately, in the time it took me to get the trident and get the channeling book, well, okay, yeah, the thunderstorm ended very abruptly, and channeling tridents only work in thunderstorms. And it's been like 2 hours since then, and there's been no thunderstorm. So that will have to wait for another time. All right. Well, we are going to get back to our favorite occupation of fencing. And you can see, already done a little bit. I think it looks good. I like that they're staggered. There's roughly the same amount of space between them, here and here on each of them. This one could probably stand to go up one. I may move that up one. Yeah, I think that looks better. That looks better one higher. So we'll just keep putting these down. I feel like it should almost do that. But here, yeah, that looks good. Let's take a look. Yeah, That looks good. And the next one, I think we'll go a couple higher, and that'll look good too. So I'm gonna get back at it, and we'll cut back in when I've finished. Yeah. So you may remember several months ago when we were working on this lighthouse that we went with spruce slabs to cap off the stone brick, because we thought it had a quality to it that made it look like almost wet, like if Minecraft had waves and sea spray and that sort of thing, that it might make the wood look sort of this hue or color. And so I thought back to that, and I decided to incorporate it over here. So I have changed out the fences that are underwater. And you can see it looks like maybe the tide's just beginning to recede a little, and so they're darker underneath the water. And maybe we can get a better view of it up here. But yeah, you can kind of see. Small detail, but I think it's a neat detail. So we're already approaching, at this point, 40 minutes in the video, so I'm gonna leave it here, and I'll continue to work on the dock and on the deck and the cabin and literally everything, because that's what we do here. But I do thank you for watching. You've been wonderful, and I have been Captain Incredulous. I'll catch you later.